Hey everyone, welcome back. We're continuing our reading of this compilation of Native American folklore, culture. It has been highly enlightening, and this story is titled The Man Who Was Afraid of Nothing from the Brule Sioux tribe. And remember, the natives had an oral tradition, so much of their wonderful stories did not survive, and this is a glimpse into the vast cornucopia of knowledge they would have had. So, we have to be thankful for what little we have. Let's begin. Now, there were four ghosts sitting together, talking, smoking ghost smoke, having a good time, as far as it's possible for ghosts to have a good time. Okay, smoking ghost smoke. One of them said, I've heard of a young man nothing can scare. He's not afraid of us, so they say. The second ghost said, I bet I could scare him. The third ghost said, we must try to make him shiver and run and hide. The fourth ghost said, let's bet. Let's make a wager. Whoever can scare him the most wins. That sounds kind of cruel. And they agreed to bet their ghost horses. Now this is cool, ghost horses. So they got ghost smoke and ghost horses. So this young man who was never afraid came walking along one night. The moon was shining. Suddenly in his path the first ghost materialized, taking the form of a skeleton. Ho, friend, he said, the ghost clicking his teeth together, making a sound like a water drum. Ho, cousin, said the young man. You're in my way. Get off the road and let me pass. Okay, so that's interesting right there. Skeleton appears, trying to freak him out, making noises, and he's just like, you need to move. Not until we have played the hoop and stick game. If you lose, I'll make you into a skeleton like me. The young man laughed. He bent the skeleton into a big hoop, tying it with some grass. He took one of the skeleton's leg bones for his game stick and rolled the skeleton along, scoring again and again with the leg bone. Look at that! So the skeleton appears. He just goes, ho, friend. And then he goes, hey, cousin. Ties him in a ball. And starts rolling him with his own leg. Well, I guess I won this game, said the young man. How about some shiny ball? The young man took the skeleton's skull and used the leg bone to drive it ahead of him like a ball. Oh, it's like he's playing cricket or rugby, something like that. Ouch, said the skull. You're hurting me. You're giving me a headache. Well, you asked for it. Who proposed this game? You or me? You're a silly fellow. The young man kicked the skull aside and walked on. Further on he met the second ghost, also in the form of a skeleton, who jumped at him and grabbed him with bony hands. Okay, so look, this one actually touches him. Let's dance, friend, the skeleton said. A very good idea, cousin ghost, said the young man. What shall we use for a drum and drumstick? I know. Taking the ghost's thigh bone and skull, the young man danced and sang, beating on the skull with the bone. That's a funny thing to think about. Stop! Stop! Cried the skull. This is no way to dance. You're hurting me. You're giving me a headache. Okay, so both the skeletons have complained about headaches. That's quite funny. Because you would think they'd be brain dead. They wouldn't have any type of sentiment. But here we are in this funny story. You're lying, ghost, said the young man. Ghosts can't feel pain. I don't know about other ghosts, said the skull, but me, I'm hurting. It's really interesting that the skeletons have this sort of dialogue. I have a headache. I can't speak about others, but I'm feeling pain. For a ghost, you're awfully sensitive, said the young man. Really, I'm disappointed. There we were, having a good time, and you spoiled my fun with your whining. Groan somewhere else. Jesus, this guy sounds like me. The young man kicked the skull aside and scattered the rest of the bones all over. So the first one got turned and rolled. This one has his parts everywhere. Now see what you've done, complained the ghost. It will take me hours to get all my bones together. You're a bad man. So the ghost set out to trick him, make him afraid, to make him run and hide. And now the ghost is like, you know what? You're actually pretty bad. Stop your whining, said the young man. It gives you something to do, then he went on. Soon he came up the third ghost. Wait, hold on. He's like, stop your whining. You collecting your bones is giving him something to do. You get it? Soon he came upon the third ghost, another skeleton. This is getting monotonous, said the young man. Are you the same as before? Did I meet you further back? No, said the ghost. Those were my cousins. They're soft. I'm tough. Let's wrestle. If I win, I'll make you into a skeleton like me. Notice how all of them have offered him that, to make him a skeleton. And he keeps calling them cousins. My friend, said the young man, I don't feel like wrestling with you. I feel like sledding. There's enough snow on the hill for that. I should have buffalo ribs for it, but your rib cage will do. Hold on, a sleigh with buffalo ribs. I used to love sleighing down the hill, but how would you do it with if it has ribs though? The snow would collect as you went down the hill. So I wonder how he's going to do it. Unless it's really icy, there's different kinds of snow. Yeah, it'd have to be like glazed over then. The young man took the ghost rib cage and used it as a sled. This is fun, he said, whizzing down the hill. Stop, stop, cried the ghost skull. You're breaking my ribs. The young man said, Friend, you look funny without a rib cage. You've grown so short. Here. And he threw the ribs into a stream. Oh, jeez. So, this is funny. Hits the one head like a ball. Scatters another one's bones. Now it takes the ribs and tosses them into the river. Look what you've done. What can I do without my ribs? I need them. Jump in the water and dive for them, said the young man. You look as if you need a bath. It'll do you good, and your woman will appreciate it. You know what? I think this is going to be one of my most favorite stories because he's sassy. He is giving it to them, right? What do you mean? I am a woman, said the ghost, insulted. He misgendered the skeleton. With skeletons I can't tell, you pretty thing, he said, and walked on. Then he came upon the chief ghost, a skeleton riding a skeleton horse. I've come to kill you, said the skeleton. The young man made faces at the ghost. He rolled his eyes, he showed his teeth, he gnashed them. He made weird noises. I'm a ghost myself, a much more terrible ghost than you are, he said. The skeleton got scared and tried to turn his ghost horse, but the young man seized it by the bridle. A horse is just what I want, he said. I've walked enough. Get off. Oh, so he goes to the leader of the skeletons, taking his horse. This is wild. He yanked the skeleton from its mount and broke it into pieces. The skeleton was whimpering, but the young man mounted the skeleton horse and rode it into camp. Look at that. This guy, what a crazy guy. Day was just breaking, and some women were up early to get water, saw him and screamed loudly. They ran away while the whole village was awakened by their shrieking. So they see it. They're freaking out. That's crazy. I mean, I would be like, someone riding in on a skeleton horse, that ain't something you see every day. The people looked out of their teepees and became frightened when they saw him on the ghost horse. As soon as the sun appeared, however, the skeleton vanished. Okay, so notice that. The sun appears, poof goes the ghost. That's interesting. The young man laughed. The story of his ride on the skeleton horse was told all through the camp. Later he joined a group of men and started to brag about putting the 4 skeleton ghosts to flight. People shook their heads, saying, This young man is really brave. Nothing frightens him. He is the bravest man who ever lived. Just then a tiny spider was crawling up the young man's sleeve. When someone called the attention to it, he cried, Eek! Get this bug off me! Please, someone take it off! I can't stand spiders! Eek! He shivered, he writhed, he carried on. A little girl laughed and took the spider off him. Told by Lame Deer and recorded by Richard Erdos. Lame Deer has the best stories in this book. So, he's not afraid of ghosts, nor the chief of ghosts. He was willing to take the dude's horse, scatter one's rib cage, sled on it, make other one into a loop, pretty much beat the heads and give them all headaches. But a little spider, that was like, eek! So I think we all can relate to that. I mean, spiders are pretty creepy, but that's adorable. It's not scared of the supernatural, but scared of the natural. That's... oh, that's funny.